Today's episode is brought to you by Sincerely Shalia, my very own greeting card line, written and designed by me for real love and real life. Whether you need the perfect card to celebrate love, apologize, or say what's on your heart, Sincerely Shalia has you covered. So skip the generic and say it your way. Check out my full collection at shaliavinny.com/greeting cards and find the card that speaks for you. I can't wait till you guys check them out. And don't forget to let me know what you think. I love you guys. Hello and welcome to the Love This Way podcast, the show that exists to help men and women everywhere to be better at love. Never any gender wars or back and forth, just great tips to help you find and sustain the love of your dreams. Because love is a journey, but you still need direction. So I want you to grab your tribe and get ready, because each episode we're going to be talking about our real life issues, answering tough questions, and building solid relationships with one another as we heal, learn, and grow. I'm your host, your girl, Dr. Shalia Vinny, and today I want to teach you one thing. You don't become roommates overnight. You practice it. Shout out to my clients, Mr. and Mrs. F, who asked me to do this episode. You guys ready? Hey, my babies. Welcome back to another episode of Love This Way. I want to talk about something that happens in relationships so quietly that couples often don't even realize it's happening until they're already living in it. They become roommates. And I'm not talking about two people who sleep in separate bedrooms. I'm not talking about couples who have different work schedules. I'm not talking about someone who occasionally needs their own space. I'm talking about something much deeper, because you can stop sharing a life while continuing to share a home. And it usually doesn't happen dramatically, because nobody wakes up one morning and says, you know what? I think I'd like to become roommates with my spouse. It starts innocently. One person works nights, the other works days. One goes to bed early, the other stays up late. Maybe somebody starts sleeping in another room because they snore. Maybe it's because somebody gets up early. Maybe the kids need one parent. Maybe work is exhausting. Maybe it's just easier. And sometimes those things are completely reasonable. But here's where we have to be careful, because something that starts as a practical solution can quietly become a permanent lifestyle. Separate routines become separate lives become separate interests become separate emotional worlds. And suddenly, you're not asking, how do we stay connected? You're asking, what's your schedule tomorrow? You're not saying, I missed you. You're saying, did you pick up the groceries? You're not even talking about your dreams anymore. You're talking about the kids' appointments, the mortgage, the laundry, the bills, and the marriage is still technically functioning. The house is running, the children are taken care of, the bills are paid, but something has disappeared. The two of you. And today I want to talk about how that happens, why it's dangerous, and most importantly, how you stop it before you wake up one day and realize we built an entire life together, but somewhere along the way, we stopped actually living it together. Because you can have a functioning household in a starving marriage. This is the part that I really want you to understand. A household can function beautifully while a marriage is quietly starving. The laundry gets done, the kids get where they need to go, the bills get paid, dinner gets made, the trash is taken out, the calendar's organized. From the outside, everything looks fine, but we have to ask a different set of questions. When was the last time you sat down just to talk? When was the last time you laughed together? When's the last time you asked your partner what they're dreaming about? When is the last time that you touched each other without leading anywhere? When was the last time you went somewhere together that had nothing to do with errands? When is the last time you looked at your spouse and thought, I really enjoy this person, like genuinely? Those questions tell you much more about the health of a marriage than whether the dishes are done. Because marriage isn't simply the management of a household. Marriage is a relationship, and relationships require participation. You cannot outsource intimacy to a shared calendar. You cannot maintain connection with logistics alone. You can know everything about your spouse's schedule and nothing about what's happening inside of their heart. You can know what time they get home without knowing what they're worried about. You can know what they want from the grocery store without knowing what they've been thinking about all day. You can know what bill is due without knowing whether they still feel desired. That's when roommates happen. Not necessarily because two people stopped caring. Sometimes they just became extremely efficient at coexisting. And efficiency is wonderful for a household, but it can be dangerous for a marriage because the more efficiently you run your lives separately, the less you may notice that you're actually living separately. So don't confuse a household that functions with a marriage that is thriving. The house can be perfectly maintained while the relationship inside of it is starving. I want to go deeper because the roommate phase usually starts with something that's completely reasonable. I need to make this very clear because there are legitimate reasons that couples may sleep separately. There are couples with different work schedules. There are parents who temporarily sleep apart because of babies. Maybe there's medical issues. Maybe there's caregiving responsibilities. There are couples who live apart temporarily because of work. There are even married couples who intentionally maintain separate homes. None of those things automatically mean a marriage is unhealthy. Physical proximity isn't the same thing as intimacy because you can sleep beside someone every night and feel completely alone. And you can be physically apart for a period of time while remaining deeply connected. So this episode isn't if you sleep in separate bedrooms, your marriage is doomed. No, the question is, are you still sharing a life? Because there is a massive difference between we sleep separately because it helps us function, but we still prioritize our marriage, and we have separate bedrooms, separate schedules, separate social lives, separate interests, separate routines, separate finances, vacations, and honestly, we prefer it that way. At that point, what exactly are you sharing besides an address or a legal document? That's the question. And I think that people need to hear it without judgment because sometimes we use the word independence to describe something that may actually be disconnection. Independence is healthy. Having your own friends is healthy. Having your own hobbies is healthy. Having time alone is healthy. You should still be an individual inside of your marriage. But there is a difference between I have a life of my own and I have a life that doesn't really include you. The first can strengthen a marriage. The second can slowly hollow it out. And here's where I think couples get into trouble. They tell themselves, we're just busy right now. Okay, but how long is right now? A month? A year? 5 years? Because life will always give you a reason to postpone your marriage. There's always work. There's always a child who needs something. There's always a bill, exhaustion. There's always a project. There's always something. And if you keep telling yourself, we'll reconnect when life calms down, you might be waiting forever because life doesn't necessarily calm down. You have to learn how to stay connected inside the life you're actually living. That's the difference. And eventually, if you aren't careful, you stop missing each other. You stop looking forward to seeing each other. You stop telling each other things. You stop reaching for each other. And you don't even have a huge fight. You just stop coming toward each other. That's the dangerous part because resentment is loud. Disconnection can be incredibly quiet. A marriage doesn't necessarily die when two people stop sharing a bedroom. It starts dying when they stop sharing a life. If you're tired of those generic impersonal greeting cards, I've got you covered. Sincerely Shalia is my very own greeting card line, written and designed by me to help you say what's really on your heart. Whether it's love, apologies, or just because, these cards speak for you. Skip the cookie cutter messages and send something real. Check out my collection at shaliavinny.com/greeting cards and find your perfect card today. So what do you actually do? Because I don't want to tell you to go on more dates and send you home with a Pinterest board. This is about rebuilding a shared life. So I want to give you some ways to keep your marriage from becoming a roommate arrangement. Number one, create something that belongs only to the two of you. It doesn't have to be expensive. A Sunday morning coffee, a nightly walk, watching one show together, a weekly breakfast, a late night conversation, a ritual before bed. Something that says, this is ours. Your relationship needs experiences that aren't about parenting, work, bills, or household management. You need memories that just belong to the two of you. Number two, stop making every conversation about logistics. If the only things you discuss are what time are you home? Did you pay the bill? Who's picking up the kids? What are we doing tomorrow? You're managing a household. You're not necessarily connecting as partners. Ask something else. What was the best part of your day? What's been on your mind? What are you excited about? Is there anything you've been needing from me? What's something you've been thinking about lately? You should be learning your spouse. Your partner is not a finished book. Number three, I want you to protect the physical affection that isn't transactional. Touch should not only happen when someone wants sex. I want you to be holding hands, hugging, kiss hello, kiss goodbye, put your hand on their back, sit close to them, rest your head on them, touch their face. Physical affection tells your partner we're still connected. And sometimes that tiny moment of physical closeness can communicate something that words can't. I'm here. You're safe with me. We're still us. Number 4, have a regular us check-in. Not a fight, not a complaint session, a check-in. Ask each other, how are we doing? And then ask, what's working? What's missing? Do you feel connected to me? Is there anything you've been missing from us? What could we do differently this month? You don't wait until your marriage is in a crisis to find out that your partner's been lonely for 2 years. Check the relationship while it's still healthy enough to repair. Last but not least, number 5, keep dating the person you already chose. This doesn't mean expensive dinners. It means pursuit, flirt, plan something, surprise them, send that text, make them laugh, sit beside them, ask them out, get dressed for each other sometimes. Look at them. Actually look at them, because commitment should end the uncertainty, not the pursuit. You don't need to recreate the beginning of your relationship. You need to keep creating reasons to enjoy the middle. I want to leave you with something. There is nothing inherently wrong with having your own space. There is nothing inherently wrong with different schedules. There is nothing inherently wrong with sleeping separately if it works for your circumstances. There's nothing wrong with independence, but ask yourself something much deeper. Are we independent, or have we become disconnected? Are we two whole people who come together to build a life, or are we two people living parallel lives who happen to share a home? Because those are very different marriages. You can share a mortgage without sharing dreams. You can share children without sharing intimacy. You can share a bedroom without sharing yourself. You can share a last name and not even share a life. That's why I don't want you to focus only on whether you're physically close. Ask whether you're emotionally coming toward each other. Do you still tell them things? Do you still want to know things? Do you still laugh, touch, dream? Do you still make plans that have nothing to do with responsibilities? Do you still look at them and think, I want you here? Because eventually, the danger isn't that you become roommates. The danger is that you become strangers with a shared history. And I don't want that for you. I want you to remember that your marriage is not just the infrastructure you've built together. It's the life that you're experiencing together. The house isn't the marriage. The kids aren't the marriage. The bills aren't the marriage. The calendar isn't the marriage. Those are pieces of the life. You are the relationship inside of it. So if you've become roommates, don't panic. Don't immediately assume it's over, but don't ignore it either. Turn toward each other and start asking questions. Start making memories. Start touching, laughing, dreaming, dating. Start becoming curious about each other again. And if you have been living separately for practical reasons, I want you to ask yourself, are we still intentionally building a shared life? Because that's what matters. And if the answer is no, don't wait until the relationship is so empty that you're forced to ask why. I want you to start now, because a marriage shouldn't just be a place where two people live. It should be a place where two people belong. And maybe that's the difference between sharing a home and sharing a life. Don't just live under the same roof. Make sure you're still building a life worth coming home to for each other. Now, if you need more help, you can always go to shaliavinny.com, book a one-on-one or a couple session, and I'm here to help you guys walk through this. I'm rooting for you. I love you guys, and I'm going to see you on the next episode, okay? Today's show is brought to you by Sincerely Shalia, my greeting card line. Please rate the show on your favorite streaming platform, share it with one person who you think needs to hear it, and then ask them to do the same. Remember, good, better, best. Don't you ever let it rest. To your good is better, and your better is best. Until next time, your friend, motivator, and relationship strategist, Dr. Shalia. Bye.